Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my partner, Crime, on the other side, Mr. Cantu.
How'd it do? How'd it do? How's everybody doing today?
Yes, we are recording on this terrific Thursday. If you're listening to us on your drive to work, on your drive home, maybe before the preview of the Astros game on this fantastic Friday. So hopefully everybody's having a great start to their weekend, or hopefully everybody's going to get to a good start for this upcoming weekend as the Astros drop the series against the Oakland Athletics, which I would never had thought that the Astros would drop the series against the A's. They almost got swept by the A's as well, but luckily the boys bounced back in that third game and were able to pick up the dub. Astros are 83-64. They are in first place right now. Currently, the Rangers and the Blue Jays have not played yet as we are recording. We'll keep you posted on that, but one game in front of the Rangers in first place. Title of this episode is episode 129, Almost Another No-No. Another no-no almost in the books for the Houston Astros. They would have been the first team to have back-to-back seasons with two no-hitters, which would have been really crazy, honestly. I didn't even realize they had a no-hitter until like the eighth inning. I was like, oh, wow, they no hits on the board, and I could see, and just wasn't their day. Ryan Presley gave up that one hit up the middle to Noda, and at the end of the day, the Astros did pick up a win before they headed off to Kansas City. But Angel, give me that one word, describe this series. It wasn't what I think everybody was hoping for, but at the end of the day, they did come up with the win for that series finale and go into Kansas City with at least one game up.
Yeah, it was an underwhelming series to say the least. Again, when you see the Athletics and the Royals on your schedule, you expect to at least win the series. I'm not saying sweep them because again they're still a pretty good baseball team, but at least get the series. And especially in September, with a tight race in the AL West, they had a 2.5 game lead. Now it's down to one after those two losses, and the Astros were frustrated after the second game on Tuesday. The veteran spoke to, I think it was JV, and the veteran spoke to everybody. It was like, don't take things for granted because it's a tight race, and surely it worked. The offense on the third game was back. Alvarez started with that huge 3-run home run, which I think it was kind of due. I don't know if he had a home run for a while. I know, like in a few podcasts ago, we spoke about the stretch that he had gone without a home run, so it was really due time. But again, the Astros continue to struggle at home, which is going to be interesting to see because they do have Baltimore and the Royals at home, and Baltimore's a pretty good team. And then again, we're going to face the Royals, just how we talked about in our previous podcast. Like, you can't take these teams for granted. They're still a good baseball team. They're still going to battle. The Royals right now have the worst record in baseball with 101 losses, but I'm sure they don't like that title, so they're going to come out and firing as well.
Yeah, I mean, we had talked about it in the last episode that you even said it yourself off the bat. They were going to be scrappy. They were going to be spoilers. And sure enough, I mean, I honestly thought we were going to give them 101, 102 losses in the books. But, I mean, it just didn't go out that way. Yeah, like you were saying, too, with JV being able to be the veteran and, leading the charge and telling the guys, hey, we got to get it going. We can't just play relax, even though they're at home, which they hold a record now at 38-37 at Minute Maid Park. But yeah, I mean, at the same time too, these team meetings, I mean, I think this is probably their third or second team meeting that they've had in this month. And really, to be honest with you, this shouldn't be happening as much because, these guys are here for a reason. They played in the postseason for 6 straight years or 5 or whatever you want to call it. ALCS as well, World Series. I mean, they've been in the biggest stage of them all, but they got to take care of business against teams like that. And like you said, too, the Royals are going to come firing all cylinders. They just beat the White Sox in a series over there in Chicago, so they're going to try to do whatever they can to continue winning ball games at the K. But, I mean, give credit to Oakland, though, at the same time. Oakland kept the Astros hitters off balance. I mean, they look clueless at the plate. One game, Alvarez had 3 strikeouts in a game.
That was the second game, I think.
Yeah, it's never happened, I believe, in his career. If anything, it's probably maybe his second or third, or maybe his first. But I mean, the ace pitchers put a lot of off speed mix. Chad he even said it himself in one of the post game interviews that they threw a lot of changeups. So maybe the Royals are going to take a page off the Athletics books and look at the videos and probably try to do the same. Make these Astros hitters unbalanced. Just try to figure a way out to just keep the Astros out of their groove, because this is going to be a very important series. We'll talk about here in a minute about the AL West, how it's looking, how the race is looking, even the wild card. We'll talk about a little bit. Have the preview against the Royals, give out our MVPs and hot take, and then of course we'll follow it up with the over and the under. But Angel, let's start off with our shout outs, man. And for the first one being, it has to be Hunter Brown. Off the bat, you've got to give this man a huge shout out, because after Framber Valdez and Justin Verlander goes 7 innings both games, and honestly, me and you had predicted that they were going to get the wins in those 2 games at least, or maybe one of them. But Hunter Brown was able to get the win at the end of the day. 5 innings, no hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, no hits, and no earned runs is probably the biggest thing out of this stat. 78 pitches, 53 strikes, which is curious to have 78 pitches with a starting pitcher like that. But I believe Dusty probably held him off, just to give him a little breather. I mean, this is the first time he's had a great start in a good while, since probably that Detroit series over there at Detroit, Michigan against the Tigers. But like I said before, great bounce back from him. This is a well needed start. Maybe get his confidence going again, and then 4 strikeouts with that Uncle Charlie, that knuckle curve that he throws. The command was there. It was working. It was like the Hunter Brown that the Astros had seen back in Sugarland, and even in 22, that last part of the season that he was pitching very great for them.
No, yeah, like Hunter Brown was excellent, like you said, 5 no-hit innings and 78 pitches. So typically, when it's like a veteran guy, you see 5 no-hit innings, 70 pitches. Oh, he's going all the way, right? But
Yeah.
uh, Dusty Baker said post game that he wanted Hunter Brown to end on a good note. So he also said he could have gone one more inning, but for two
Mm-hmm.
reasons. He didn't go again to end on that high note and to manage his innings. Again, this is the most innings he's ever pitched in his career. We saw a little bit of fatigue in his last 2 outings, and interesting enough, Dusty Baker put Monty Monado catching his and Hunter Brown's previous start to sort of straighten him out, and that didn't work out, right? So then they went back to the duo of Yanier Diaz and Hunter Brown, and just to give you a glimpse of how great that duo been, let me give you some stats. So Yanier Diaz has caught Hunter Brown 16 games, and Martin Monado has caught Hunter Brown 12 games. The ERA with Yanier Diaz is 3.94, and this is in 16 starts. Now in
Mm-hmm.
12 starts with Martin Maldonado, the ERA is 5.48. 5.48.
That's a
So
big number right there.
big difference. His strikeout to win ratio is a lot better with Yanier Diaz as well. It's uh, at 3, and Martin Maldonado is 3.73. The opponent batting average is a lot better with Yanier Diaz as well, 2.48 compared to with Martin Maldonado 2.73, and then his batting average on baseballs in play with Yanier Diaz is 3.11, and with Martin Maldonado 3.68. So I don't know. I think that Yanier Diaz, Hunter Brown duo is especially working. Again, they've caught each other since they were in the minors. They're familiar with each other with their nicks and ticks and stuff like that. So I'm sure that duo should be together moving on forward.
Yeah, I mean Diaz should be able to be comfortable. I think he probably, like you said, they've been together in the minors. They've came up at the same time of last year, September in 2022. So I mean, they have a great familiarity. My fault. I can't even talk right now. My tongue twisting again. But I mean, they're familiar with each other at the end of the day. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, 394 and a 5.8 something ERA that you're giving us them stats. That's a huge difference. At the same time, too, of course, you have your Yiner Diaz fans and you have your Martin Maldonado fans trying to support one another. At the end of the day, whoever's going to give this team the best benefit of the doubt to win a ball game, that's who you got to go out there and put out in that lineup. But Yiner Diaz did a great job calling the whole game. Honestly, shoot, only allowed one hit at in the ninth inning. I think 2 hits actually. At the end of the day, they did score 2 runs too, but I think it's a confidence booster for Hunter Brown. It's a confidence booster for Yiner Diaz and maybe Dusty Baker. Maybe Baker could give Diaz more opportunities like this against a against a team's going into the postseason.
Yeah, and then many shout out to Yanni for calling such a great game as well. Again,
Mm-hmm.
well, not just with Hunter Brown, but with Montero, with Neres and Abreu, and even Presley. I mean, uh, what Junior Diaz saying with that curveball, he was like that curveball could have easily been rolled over for a double play to get out the inning. So I mean, to like complete the no hitter is just like things that happen in baseball.
Yeah.
But moving on for shout outs, I'm going to shout out two lefty hitters. One, Jordan Alvarez. He did go 2 for 11, which is a 222 batting average. It's not great right now where you want to be, but he did kickstart that offense in that third game, which led to the Astros victory. He had 3 RBIs and 1 home run. And also Kyle Tucker for his 100th career home run as well. So shout out to the big lefties out there.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, 28, what, 28 home, no, 28 stolen bases and 27 home runs is now the 30-30 update for Mr. Kyle Tucker. And with Kyle Tucker, too, dude, he hasn't hit a home run since August. I think this is his first home run in a while. I
Oh,
can't
wow.
remember at the top of my head when he had a home run, but it's been a while since we've seen a King Tuck bomb hit into the King's court. But yeah, great to see him getting back in action. Maybe that does help him going into Kansas City. And then Jordan Alvarez, too. I mean, the Astros need him big time. He needs to find a way to get those RBIs in, the RBI production. He's getting close to 100, too. So it'll be just right there at the end of the games when it comes. I mean, it's 15 games left. He has about 80, 89 plus or 90 plus, one of those. I think he should get it with no problem. But at the same time, too, if him and Kyle Tucker continue to hit like they need to hit, then we've always talked about this lineup could go pretty scary in the postseason. But them two got to be clicking in all cylinders.
Wow. So that was Kyle Tucker's first home run since August 27th.
August 20. You see, I knew it was either 26 or 27. One of those days.
And I was against Detroit when it won 17-4. So yeah, it's been a
Wow.
while.
Well, we're glad to see that it happened. 100 career home runs, though, for Kyle Tucker. Congratulations to the King himself. But, Angel, let's talk about the AL West, how it is going right now. And as I have the standings in front of me, I said the Rangers were one game in front. I mean, one game back from the Astros. Astros are 83-64. Rangers are 81-64. And the Seattle Mariners are 81-65, just 1.5 games back of first place. Look at the wild card real quick. Tampa Bay, of course, has that wild card locked. I want to say 90 wins and 57
Yeah.
loss in first. Then you got the Rangers. Then you got Seattle. And then don't look too fast on the Toronto Blue Jays. They're still there hunting for that third wild card spot with 80-66 loss. What's killed them was the Rangers. The Rangers are I think they're on a 4-game winning streak right
Yeah.
now, which is pretty good. Which the news really hurts. Man, it's tough for them because the Astros fans have gone through a lot of injuries this year, from starting pitching, from Altuve being out for some of the season, Jordan being out for some of the season. It's been tough for the Astros, and even going to the Rangers fans as well. Honestly, Jonah Heim's been out. They got Adolis Garcia, who's out, who is second in the American League with RBIs. They've had Corey Seager out. They've had some slumps from Marcus Simeon.
Josh Jung.
So Josh Jung too. He might be clear to be coming back soon. I want to say
Okay.
I saw something on social media saying he might be coming back to return with the Rangers. But Max Scherzer is the top headline for the Rangers, and really the top headline for the American League, even the AL West, because that is a pivotal starter that they are going to be losing for the rest of the regular season. And they said, quote, he is unlikely to pitch in the postseason if the Rangers do make it to the playoffs. That's going to hurt them a lot because now you got the number one guy being their starting rotation was Jacob deGrom. He was out for the season in the beginning or mid part of the season. And now you got Max Scherzer, who's going to be out. So now you're left with Andrew Heaney, you're left with Nathan Eovaldi, and you're left with John Gray.
And Nathan
Which, I mean,
Eovaldi,
them,
and Nathan Eovaldi is coming back from an injury himself as well. And you
yeah.
saw in that Astro series, he didn't look so good as well.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, too, Uvalde does got that playoff experience.
Yeah.
Maybe he just needs 2 or 3 games under his belt to feel comfortable. And maybe the Rangers do get in, maybe they don't. But real quick, Let's talk about the schedule. The Astros have 15 games left. Really, Major League Baseball teams out there, they're about 15, 16 games left of the season. But let's start with the Rangers actually, since they're second in the AL West. Today, as we're recording, they're playing their last game against Toronto. They can potentially sweep them. After that, they'll be going to Cleveland. They'll play Boston at home. They'll play Seattle at home for their last regular home season games. And then they travel to Anaheim to play the Angels. And then they travel to Seattle to play the Seattle Mariners. Let's look at the Mariners now. On Friday, they play the Los Angeles Dodgers at home. After that, they have a 3-game series away in Oakland against the Athletics. They have 3 games in Arlington. And then the rest of the season, they will play 3 games against the Astros and then 4 games against the Texas Rangers at home. Finally, last but not least, we got the hometown team, the Houston Astros. They're traveling to KC against the Royals. They'll come back on a 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles. The last home stand for the Astros of the regular season against the Kansas City Royals in a 3-game series. Travel to Seattle, Washington to face the Mariners. And then they go to the desert of Phoenix and play the Arizona Diamondbacks for 3 games. So if you're looking at the schedule, kind of how it's looking, the strength, I would say, who do you think has the easiest schedule out of these 3 divisional teams?
Honestly, it's tough because I would say the Astros just because they are going against the Royals twice, um, and because um,
My fault. I accidentally mute you.
yeah, I thought it was me, but yeah, um,
My fault.
I would say the Astros, although they're all tough. Are all tough because Seattle's going against the Rangers. And Seattle are going against each other twice, and that has playoff implications as well for the wild card, possibly one wild card or the division even. And the Astros are finishing it off with Seattle and Arizona, which Arizona is battling for that wild card spot as well. I think they're right now they're third in that wild card spot in the National League. So I would say Astros just because they're again the Royals twice, but all of these schedules are evenly. I would say evenly balanced. They're as hard just because of the postseason implications that both teams are having. Although Arizona is struggling a little bit as well, um, but we never know what's gonna happen.
It's the Wild Wild West for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Astros too because just of the fact that they play better on the road than the other 2 teams do. The last 10 games of the season for the Rangers and the Rangers and the Mariners, they're going to have to face each other 7 of the last 10 games. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I mean, it's going to be pivotal for both teams to do good, just to stay in the wild card or even in the hunt for the AL West. But the Astros have to do their job and do their part to go and beat these teams that have poor records, which that starts with the Kansas City Royals. You saw how it started over here at home against the A's. They can't do that going over there to Kansas City. The thing that helps the Astros is playing away. They've been phenomenal all year. They hold a 45-27 record playing away from Minute Maid Park compared to the Texas Rangers, who are 36-34 away from Globe Life Field. And then the Seattle Mariners away from T-Mobile Park are 40-35. So the Astros have a huge advantage right there. But the thing is, against 500 teams that are not good win percentage wise, the Astros are 40-43, the Rangers are 40-42, and the Seattle Mariners are 36-42. So that's why I say, and I'm leaning towards the Astros, who have the easiest part about that. After I'm going a close second with the Seattle Mariners because their last 7 games are at home, and they're going to be against divisional opponents, being the Astros and then the Rangers. So it's going to be a tight race, but with the pitching too, with the Rangers, how it's looking, which the 3 starting pitchers right now are, like I said, Uvalde, Gray, and Heaney. It's not looking too promising for the Rangers. And then plus the offense with Garcia still out, and then Jung possibly returning to one of these series. They're gonna have to figure it out soon because Toronto's just came back in that 3rd wild card spot.
Yeah, I do have a question for you, like a little scenario. if the
Go ahead.
postseason if the postseason started today, it'll be the Orioles and the Astros first and second week, so they got to buy. But then it gets interesting because it would be the Tampa Bay versus Rangers, and then the Seattle versus Twins. Now, if all three AOS teams get in, that's how it's going to be looking like a little bit, right? So,
Mhm.
who do you think has the easier matchup, Seattle versus Twins or Texas versus Tampa Bay Rays?
I say the Seattle Mariners and the Minnesota Twins.
And that's the sixth seed.
That Yeah, and then the Twins too have been really advanced in the postseason for a good while. I think I can't remember the top of my head, but it's been like since 2010 or maybe in the 2000s that they've reached to another part on another level of either the division or the championship series in a playoff format. So that's why I give the edge to the Mariners because their offense, dude, their offense is clicking right now. You got Julio Rodriguez, who won August Player of the Month. The Astros saw how he was at Minute Maid Park. The guy was unstoppable. Then you add Teoscar Hernandez, who's figured it out the second half of the season. He has finally figured it out for that team who has been looking for that Hernandez silver slugger from the Toronto Blue Jays. Eugenio Suarez, of course, he's going to give you that home run power, that strikeout, one of those, either or. But the pitching, too, dude. The pitching is there for the Seattle Mariners.
Even with Kirby
Logan
Yates,
Gilbert, George Kirby, you mean?
yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
he's been
Okay.
he's been slumping a little. It's a little he's kind of being nervous at that part, but um I don't know. Maybe George Kirby turns into a different pitcher in the postseason. The Astros saw that last year, how he pitched at home at T-Mobile. But I think the thing with the Mariners is just their starting pitching too. There is just too good. I mean, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo. Them are just three of them. Who am I missing? Brian Wu. He had a good game
Yeah,
against the Angels.
yeah.
Um, and I know there has to be another starting pitcher, but other than that, I mean, them guys have been doing good. Bryce Miller, that's the other one. He's a rookie, but
Oh wait, isn't it Bryce Miller with the Braves, or am I thinking about another Miller?
you're thinking of Bryce
Bryce
Elder.
Elder. There you go. That's I got confused. You're right.
Yeah, but okay, so I'm gonna counter another question at you now.
Okay.
If you're the Astros, would you rather be in the wild card? Which, when you're in the wild card, you're either that well, you'll have that top seed actually. I think either you play away, or would you rather win the division and get that second bye week and play whoever's coming to your house?
Easy win the division. Uh,
Okay.
it's you get a much needed day off to get like you're fresh
Yeah.
and sometimes that can go on and hurt the opponent because of the break especially the other team builds momentum in that wild card series. Sorry, that wild card series that gets hard to stop, but
Mhm.
at the end of the day you want your freshest guys and you want your best guys to be fresh is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So easily win the division because you never know, like nothing's a given. Just because you go to the wild card spot doesn't mean you'll make it to the next round, right? So I would say win the division and do what you got to do at home. And the Astros should be able to know what to do at home because they've done it before, excluding that 2019 World Series. But yeah, they've done it before.
Yeah, the 2019 World Series, what was like not even one home team had won one
No,
game in their own house, which is crazy. What a stat that is. But I agree. Yeah, it hasn't looked pretty at Minute Maid Park. It is not 39 and 38. You would expect a better record with your home crowd in the back, but
and
it
then
just hasn't played out that way.
and in a postseason crowd, it's much different than a regular season crowd. It's like
Yes,
once that crowd gets
absolutely.
going, the momentum is there. The butter, that energy is there. So again, now like those fans bring out the energy that the Astros could like fall into.
Yeah, I mean because the crowd's very much into it each in game. You'll have your two starters being Justin Verlander and Framber Valdez, who pitched really well at Minute Maid Park last season. It's going to be crucial. It's going to be very important, I'd say, to get the division and make the other two teams fight for that last wild card spot, or possibly, like you said, maybe both of them get in. Three AL West teams, which is pretty crazy because last week I had saw MLB post the five American League like MVP power rankings or something like that. Number one being Shohei Ohtani, of course. Number two was, I believe it was either Julio Rodriguez or Corey Seager. Third being No, it was something like that. But one through five, four of them were in the AL West. Otani, Rodriguez, Seager, and Tucker. And then Yandy Diaz was number five, which is crazy when people had said last year that the AL West isn't a strong division. Well, look at it this year because it's very tough to at least even try to win it and then try to get into the postseason. Just what I'm hoping for, just the Astros not to be fatigued by that time whenever they get into the postseason because after playing 160 plus games, the fatigue kind of sets in. Just look at Christian Javier, how he's pitching right now, which he's an over and under kind of guy in our segment later.
And I don't know. And I know like this segment has been like long, but I want to mention one more thing. When you said about fatigue, it got me thinking about something. And I know there's a bunch of Dusty haters, but this is where Dusty's managerial styles works because he doesn't play. He gives people days off, much needed days off. And again, because Dusty understands that it's a marathon, not a sprint. The end goal is obviously to get to the postseason. But once that postseason happens, like you're going to see a lineup where it's going to be more consistent. The best guys are going to be out there now. It'll be crazy to see. What I'm interested to see is the playing time, like the split between Marty Maldonado and Yanir Diaz in the postseason. But other than that, like the best guys are going to be on the field every single time once the postseason comes. But I like the way he gives people days off so they can be fresh for when the time comes.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. And then even too, what I'm thinking about is Justin Verlander's day when he pitches. Is he going to roll the dice and put Mauricio Dubon in center? Yeah. Or is he going to put Chas McCormick, who's been one of the best center fielders in the league this season? So it's going to be very, very intriguing to see his lineups coming into the postseason. That's, if the Astros do even make the postseason, which I believe they should.
I think there was one start on a mistaken where Justin Verlander did pitch and Mauricio Dubon was not in center field. So I think I think there has been one. So.
Yeah, but you got to, like you said, you got to play your best players out there in the postseason. Just look at the Atlanta Braves. 90-something wins already. Their lineup, a gauntlet. One of the best I've ever seen since maybe the 2019 Astros lineup.
Yeah.
Very scary. But enough of the AL West and postseason talk. Of course, when it gets closer, we'll talk about the matchups and we'll talk about the series. Maybe the Astros win the division for a 6th straight year or 7th straight year, whatever it is. Or maybe next year we'll just have to talk about their season, how it was. But I don't think we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to the postseason matchups. Anyway, preview. Let's get it going, Angel, against the Kansas City Royals. 46-101. Like you said, they do have the worst record in Major League Baseball. They are last in the AL Central. 4-6 in their last 10 games. And like I mentioned earlier of the episode, that they've won their series against the Chicago White Sox in Chicago. Do you think they have better barbecue than the Houston area?
No.
I've heard Kansas City has some great barbecue, dude. I'm very intrigued to try it. I really want to try it.
I ain't trying to make people mad.
The other thing too, their barbecue could be different from Houston's barbecue. Houston's barbecue, like I went to North Carolina in I think 2019 for a World Series, and their barbecue is mainly pork.
Okay.
Which is very weird. Now, when I got on the menu, I was like, okay, well, where's the brisket? The ribs. When you're so used to seeing that in Houston menus, you hardly see pork. But no one wants to hear about that. You let us know though who you think has the better barbecue, Kansas City or Houston, which I'm pretty sure.
Barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce. That's a very underrated sauce.
Well, because
are you a sweet or a spicy kind of a barbecue sauce guy?
Oh, I love me some sweet barbecue, especially honey barbecues. Is the way to go. But no. Like the reason I say is because like there's like Kansas City barbecue sauce. There's Memphis barbecue sauce. It's just like just like different types.
Dude, sweet goes good with anything. I don't mind a little spice though. I love the spice. I love the kick, but sweet is the way to go. But Friday night, Angel. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of people having their barbecue on their plate with maybe a brewski, maybe a cold beverage in their hand. 7:10 start time. You got Christian Javier with a 9.3 record, 4.78 ERA. He'll be going against one of the legends, I'd say, in Major League Baseball that I'm pretty sure he can maybe see a plaque in Cooperstown. Man, that's another debate we'll have to have maybe in the offseason. Zach Greinke, former Houston Astro. He's 1-15. 1 win and 15 loss this season with a 5.47 ERA. Christian Javier, Angel, you say he looked good in the beginning, but kind of got off balance at the end. Last start versus the San Diego Padres, he gave up 82. And honestly, Angel, I think he could have gone another inning. 82 pitches. You see that, and you're like, well, it could have been a possibility to go 90, but maybe Dusty Baker was holding him off, because of the innings pitched this season. I mean, you said it before, and Hunter Brown was pitching a lot of innings in his career in his first full regular season as an Astro. Christian Javier, I mean, remember, last year he was coming out of the bullpen for the first, I believe, since May, and then June. That's when he started becoming a starter. So, honestly, he could have gone another inning, but at the same time, too, just save him, save his arm. Zach Greinke, on the other hand, I mean, the Astros fans know and seen him from his times being in Houston, from 2019 all the way to 2021, which, Angel, who was the last pitcher to get a base hit in a World Series game?
Isn't it Zach Greinke?
It is Zach Greinke. I believe it is Zach Greinke, but I did see a Kendall Graveman get in at bat. Maybe he was the last pitcher getting at bat, but I know Zach Greinke was the last American League pitcher, at least, to get a hit in a World Series game. Of course, he does have has a good bat. He's a silver slugger at a time. But his last outing at Toronto, he's 3 2/3, 6 innings, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Angel, this is Greinke's second career worst ERA of the season. He has a 5.47 this season. You have to go back to 2005 when he carried a 5.80 ERA in his sophomore year with the Kansas City Royals. A young Zach Greinke with a 5.80 ERA in his sophomore season with KC. He has yet to win a game after the All-Star break this season as well. He is currently 0-6 with a 5.56 ERA after the All-Star break. Interesting question I have to ask you, Angel. Do we see an eephus pitch under 60 miles per hour?
I think just to mess with the guys a little bit. And he might even tell him when it's coming too. You know how when he was here, he would give the signs. But I don't know. Highly unlikely, but it'll be fun to see.
Who do you think that hitter would be?
Let's see. It'd probably either be like Altuve or like one of the guys he was really cool with, Altuve, or maybe even not Alvarez. Alvarez would hammer that. But
I was thinking Alvarez for a second too, but like thinking of that time in Baltimore when he got a position player pitching, he just took it over there to right field. Yeah, I mean Altuve is a good one. I'll go Bregman.
Yeah,
maybe Bregman.
Yeah, let's see that.
So it'll be fun to see Zach Greinke pitch again. I honestly don't know how many seasons he got left. I think this could be the last one, or maybe one more year. I'd say.
That's about right.
Saturday, 6:10 start time. You got JP France 11-5 with a 3.61 ERA. He'll be going against Cole Ragans.
Ooh, he's
6-4. Yeah, 3.01 ERA. And JP France, let's talk about him real quick. His last outing versus San Diego was pretty damn good. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. Yeah, the walks were a little bit too much, 5 walks. But, I mean, he pitched out of a lot of jams, out of trouble, getting the ground ball when he needed, making the hitters put the ball in play. I think that's very important because you got a defense right behind you. So that's what he did. And sure enough, 6 innings, a 4-hit ball, I'll take it. That's a good stat for JP France. But the man of the hour I want to talk about, Angel, I think you want to talk about too, is Cole Ragans. This guy used to play for the Texas Rangers. but was involved in that Aroldis Chapman trade earlier in the season. His last outing against Toronto, 5 2/3, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts. His last appearance at Houston, though, he was in a reliever. He was a reliever at that time. He didn't start a game. He went 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. But Angel, the biggest numbers from this guy, dude, he has changed into a different pitcher ever since landing in Kansas City. After leaving the Rangers, with the Royals in 9 games as a starting pitcher, he is 4-1 with a 169 ERA and carries an opponent batting average of 191. Top 7% of the league is expecting batting average of 197. Very different complete pitcher right there. His changeup is a positive 10 run value, which is very great to have. He has a 19.1 hard hit percentage on that pitch, 35.2 whip percentage as well. And then the lowest of any pitch he's thrown from his arsenal, a 154 opponent batting average. So you're going to see that pitch a lot, I'm pretty sure. If, like I was talking about earlier in the episode, that the Oakland Athletics pitched a lot of changeups to the Astros hitters and making them just not be able to hit that pitch, there's a possibility that they're going to see that here. But what are we going to see from Cole Reagans? Because Angel Cantu does have him on his fantasy baseball team
Of
as
course,
well. So
of
talk to us
course.
about him. What are we going to see from him?
I mean, we kind of hit it in the coffin. That changeup is killer. He's like most guys you see now are like a fastball slider type of pitcher, but now he's a fastball changeup type of pitcher, and that changeup is good. He's thrown it 317 times, which is 24% of the time. And it makes him low in a way. And like you said, that ERA, I'm sorry, that opponent batting average on that changeup is 154, which kind of unhittable
Stick.
if you ask me. Yeah, but that curveball on that slider doesn't lag behind. A 179 batting average on those, and according to Baseball Savant, his off-speed run value, which is a 10, which is 98, which is a 98 percentile. Amazing. I was on the changeup. The breaking ball run, like the breaking run value, which is like on curveball sliders, 82 percentile, which is still pretty good. So
Good.
like in
Yeah.
total, the average adds up to 88. 88 on the pitching run value, which is again 88 percentile, which is amazing. And he's been great. He's been amazing. It's just going to be like him and JP France, which is crazy. Two rookies going at it might be the best pitching matchup of the series.
Yeah, like you said, he is a rookie too. This is his second season, but his first regular season throughout the whole year. So this is probably one of the best matchups I'd say in this series. But Cole Reagans is their ace. So Astros hitters are going to be having to be prepared against a guy like that, especially the left-handed hitters, which the left-handed hitters have done against left-handed pitchers. Jordan, Tucker, and Michael Brantley. So it'll be interesting to see what the outcome comes out of that game. But Sunday Fun Day, 1:10 start time. You got Framber Valdez, who is 11-10 with a 3.32 ERA, and he'll be going against another former Astro Angel, Jordan
Jordan Lyles.
Lyles. He was there for the bad times when the Astros were losing 100 games plus. So, but he has a 4.16. He's 4-16 with a 6.44 ERA. Mr. Framber Valdez, on the other hand, last outing versus Oakland, it was a good outing. Just like we talked about, the Astros offense just was not there. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, double-digit strikeouts. 3 in his last 4 starts. Framber pitched through 7 innings. Recently, he's gone back-to-back 7-inning starts, 4 consecutive quality starts as well. How encouraging are you to see Framber pitch like this? It's very great that the Framber Valdez that all Astros fans and even the media have seen him pitch through last year. It's looking like his old self again.
Yeah, although he got the loss again, he did surrender, I believe, a multiple home runs against Oakland. He looked good though. Again,
Mhm.
being able to pitch 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. His curveball was pretty good. I think he made like one or two mistakes, and that's what cost him a bit, like the loss. But if that Astros offense is fine, he easily gets to win in this game.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean you got to hope that it does though too.
yeah. But I mean, he was good. It's encouraging sign. I know Coming off the All Star break, Framber Valdez was kind of shaky, but now, like you said, we're trying to see him like we're seeing him like his old self before the All Star break, and it's a good sign leading up to the postseason.
Yeah, he hasn't had a rough start, a bad start since the Seattle Mariners game at Houston, and that was in August. I think that was either the beginning or the midweek of August. So very encouraging to see those numbers for Framber Valdez. And then Jordan Lyles, like we said, the former Astro, his last outing at Chicago against the White Sox, he went 5 innings, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. The stat that very intrigues me a lot is in day games, he is 1-9 with a 9.10 ERA, allowing 73 hits and 61 earned runs. That is pitiful. That is pretty bad. 1-9 with a 9. That's almost double digits on his ERA. The thing with the Astros, they're going to have to get on him ASAP. Base is empty. He carries a 230 opponent batting average. But when he has a man on base, either a runner on first, a runner on second, or a runner on third, or even just multiple runs, he has a 318 opponent batting average. And then when you got men in scoring position, like on second and third, or even a runner on third, 384 opponent batting average. That is pretty horrific for Jordan Lyles. But the Astros hitters are probably feasting on it. They're salivating. Oh my God, I can't. That's a second tongue twister for me today. But at the end of the day, they got to attack that sweeper. The sweeper is probably his worst pitch in his arsenal. A lot of hitters do well against it. The red is about low onto the outside corner for right-handed hitters, low to the inside corner to left-handed hitters. So attacking the sweeper, he does leave the ball in the plate, in the middle of the plate. Just got to do its job and attack it and get him out of that game early to get to that bullpen. Other than that, Angel, this series, I mean, I'm not even going to say it's winnable, but it should be a series that the Astros should take care of business. There's no reason that these guys, after the series against Oakland, they should not be dropping any more series for the rest of the regular season, especially against teams like this.
Yeah, I was about to say that it's a winnable series, but yeah, you're right. They have to win every series from now on. It's okay to drop a game, but they have to win every single one because Seattle or the Rangers, one of those, it's going to be in the playoffs, and it's either going to be in the wild card or it's going to be winning the division. The Astros falter a little bit, but the Astros have the division on their court. It's like whatever they want. Either whether they can win it out, keep it, or they if they want to lose it, they're gonna lose it like the balls in their hands and on that end.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
that is all for the recap. For the preview, it is time for our MVPs and our hot takes. Now, I had Pena, Brown, and Astros score more than 4 runs each game. I would say I hit 1 out of 3. I think game one, both of our hot takes went out the window real quick.
That's what I was thinking right now. It's scoreless in that first game.
Yeah. So, but Hunter Brown had a good showing, great bounce back, and with Yanni Diaz behind the plate. But my new ones this year is Jordan Alvarez. He hit that home run, that 3-run home run to start the offense, and I think the offense revolves around him. I feel like Kyle Tucker has been the better lefty this season just because of injuries. But again, this is still Alvarez offense, so I think if he's going, everybody gets going. So he's my offensive MVP. My pitching MVP is going to be JP France. He's been the Astros' most consistent pitcher, and the Astros need that consistency to continue against the Royals. And my hot take is Astros will sweep the Royals in Kansas City. Again, they've been great on the road. You set the record on the road earlier, so why not do it against the worst team in baseball?
Yeah, hot take. I mean, it's really not a hot take. It's just a fact that the Astros need to do that against a team like that. I was going to pick JP France as my pitching MVP, but I was like, you know what? I'll say that one for Angel because he's done good with you too, being the pitching MVPs when you pick them. But for me, on mine, I had Bregman, Framber, and Astros take care of business at home. I think I went 1 for 3, like you were saying. Framber had a good outing. It just resulted in a loss. But encouraging to see Framber Valdez starting to pitch very well in the late part of the season. But new weekend, Angel, you got Kyle Tucker as the offensive MVP. For me, you had Jordan Alvarez being that lefty. I'll go with the other lefty. The guy that I'd say that probably could be a American League MVP finalist in the top 3. Kyle Tucker, I think hitting that home run is going to help him. I do see one of the 30 categories closing in Kansas City, I think.
Okay.
Either the stolen bases or the home runs. And remind you, he has 27 home runs and 28 stolen bases for the 30-30. Astro player that hasn't had 30-30 since Jeff Bagwell in 1997. So one of those, I think that would happen. Framber Valdez is going to be my pitching MVP. I actually had him in my recent one, but I got to go back to back on this because I think he's starting to find the groove of things. He looks like his old self again. He's looking like the franchise that he was in the beginning of the season for the Astros. And then the hot take, I did a little different. I could have went offense. I could have went starting pitching. I went with the bullpen because there could be some of these games that the bullpen's going to have to come into some close game situations or just piggyback off the other guy. Astros bullpen collects a combined of 10 or more strikeouts in a 3-game series against the Royals.
Well,
Against one the
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
No, against one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. So that's all I was going to say.
so you're predicting a heavy bullpen load. So I'll say you don't think the starters will go 7,
Well,
6.
I could see some starters do. JP France, he is a road warrior. He does pitch very well on the road. You could maybe see 6 innings of 7 innings baseball from him. You do got Framber Valdez, who pitched 7 innings in back-to-back starts. The only one the one guy that we talked about throughout our whole season of the podcast is Christian Javier. Can he give the Astros some pitching, being able to stabilize and be able to pitch with a lot of innings, being 5, being 6, instead of 4 or 4 and a third or 4 and 2/3 or 5. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but that's the only part that I'll say. That's why I have this hot take of Astros bullpen collecting a combined of 10 or more strikeouts.
Okay, I can see that. I can see it. Now it is time for our over and unders. Right now I'm at 34. Lorenzo is at 37. He's closing on at the lead. I think what affected me was picking Verlander over 10 strikeouts. I think that's the one I got wrong last week, so that one hurt. But let's move on to this series. My first one is Christian Javier will pitch 6 quality start innings. So again, just like last week, it has to be 6 innings, 3 runs or less. You want me to go first or you go first? You got it.
I mean, you're already speaking, so might as well go on.
You know what? I'm going to say over on this one. I would say Christian Javier needs to start a good start to show Dusty Baker he can be a starter in the postseason. Why not do it against the Royals? So I'm going to go over on this one.
I want to say over 2 because of the pattern. We've seen the pattern when we do our over-unders that have you put up there. He goes 4 or 5 or 4 and 6 or something like that.
I forgot to say those, yeah.
Yeah, so San Diego, he went 4. New York, he went 6. And Boston, he went 4. I'm going to have to go under. I say he does get 5 innings, though. I will say he will get through 5 innings.
That's fair.
Because Dusty, it could, like you said, it could be 6. Okay, so 6 quality start innings. Are we going with the quality start in the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for example, I will lose it as well if he goes 6 innings but allows 4 runs. I don't think it doesn't count.
I was just making sure. But yeah, I'll go under. I do see 5 innings because Dusty did pitch him with 4 innings with 82 pitches his last start. So I can see 6. I can see 5. I can see 5, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does go 6 if he does pitch very well.
Okay, see that. The next one, Astros scores 20 or more runs this series as a team. Against a 3-game set against Oakland, they scored 8 runs. 3-game set against San Diego, they scored 21 runs, and then in the series against Rangers, scored 39 runs. You go over or under? No, but when I was writing this down, that Oakland series, I was like, golly, that was
8 runs against Oakland in a 3-game series. That's crazy. But I got to go over. They got to redeem themselves. They got to figure out a way. They do hit well on the road. Do you see them number against Texas Rangers? 39 runs. Detroit, I'm pretty sure they had 20 plus because they did score 17 in one game. Same thing at Boston. Boston, they scored 13 in one game. So I can see going the over against a team like the Royals. The only pitcher that I'd say maybe the Astros are going to be roughed up, maybe, will be Cole Ragans.
Yeah. Cole Ragans has been good. So I'm gonna go the under on this one.
Wow.
I'll say they score about
Under.
18 runs. They win the series, but again, like I'm taking a gamble on it. Like
That is a huge gamble,
I'm going.
dude.
I'm
That
taking a
is a
gamble.
very
I'm going
huge.
under. Again, I know. I I know my hot take says a sweep. I still believe it can be a sweep. It's going to be a low scoring
So
sweep.
it'll be like a 2-0-4-3-5-2 games or what? And that's what we're predicting.
Yeah. Not like
That's crazy.
maybe like
That's
six
very bold,
two,
dude.
7-1. Yeah.
Dude, that's very bold. I didn't think that
And I
was
need to
gonna
catch
come
up.
out from you. Shoot, I don't know if you're catching up by that way.
I mean,
20 or more runs with the offense that does pretty well on the road. It is
you
what it
never
is.
know.
It is what it is.
All right, the next one. Framber will strike out 9.5 batters this year. Now the reason why I put 9.5 is because if you get nine, it doesn't count. It's like it has to be 10 strikeouts or more.
Has to be 10 strikeouts. So
Yeah,
might as well just put 9.6 rounded to the nearest 10th or 100th, whatever they taught us
but
at math class.
just to, but but just to give you a little recap, he did get 10 strikeouts against Oakland, 4 against the Rangers, and 5 against Boston. So
Um, I'll go over with
what
this
do
one
you say?
actually. I think he could go back to back 10 strikeout games. Against teams like this, I think it's more
Wait, did
of
you zone out?
no. I'm
Oh,
still here. Are you here? Are you here? You're lagging. We'll have to fix this. But if anybody can hear me, I will go with Framber on the over with a 9.5 batters. 9.5 batters, but 9.5 strikeouts. Sorry about that. Against Oakland, he pitched 10 strikeouts. If you remember, in the second half of the season, the first start, he threw 13 strikeouts against the Los Angeles Angels. I do think he does pitch better against poor teams with losing winning percentage. So I do think he will go the over, and hopefully he does get 10 strikeouts. It'd be great to see him have 10 strikeouts as well.
am I back? I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're there. You're there. You're there.
Sorry, I'm having technical issues with my Wi-Fi over here. But yeah, I did hear you. You did say you're going over. I'm gonna go over as well. I think he gets 10 strikeouts or more. And
Hmm.
then
Yeah, it should be
to
interesting.
finish it off, Alex Bregman's back in the over and under, records 4 or more hits this series. In Oakland, he had 1 hit. San Diego, he had 3 hits, and Texas, he had 7 hits. What do you say?
I'll go over. I'll go over. I think it's more of it's like, well, I like to say redemption because I mean Bregman is the guy that's been hitting really well this second half of the season for the Astros. At the same time, it's kind of not redemption because he's been doing it the whole second half, like I was saying right now. He's been doing really good for them. I don't know if being out of the two role could be that possibility. Could be, but I don't. At the same time, I don't know. I do think though he'll get 4 more hits in this series.
Okay, I think so too. I'm gonna go over as well. Again, the Astros have been playing a lot better in the road, and Bregman is one of those. So I believe so.
Yeah, the Astros do play good on the road, and that's why Angel has under 20 or more runs for the Astros to score. But I mean, we have two opposites. Christian Javier pitching 6 quality start innings, and Astros scored 20 or more runs this series. It's either me just continue going up the ladder or Angel getting closer to me. So we'll have to see. We'll keep you updated with that. But that is all for the show that we have. Sorry, we did have some technical difficulties on the set, but it won't happen again. It just happens at this time. We are recording around 6 o'clock Central Time in Houston on a Thursday, which we usually don't, but it happens because Thursday night football's on, Angel.
Of
Thursday night
course,
football's on. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are playing fantasy football as well, as this will be the second week for fantasy football players if you ever play.
I hate fantasy football.
Ever since Angel lost to 30 something points for the Dallas Cowboys defense, he just has not felt
No,
great after
I've
that.
I've been unhappy ever since. I was like, this is the first week of fantasy football. I'm going into Sunday night stress free. Dak Prescott's on the score. He has that is Cowboys defense left, and the Giants just turned into a Pop Warner team out of nowhere, and just I don't even want to
It was
talk about it.
bad.
I don't even want to talk about it.
It was
I don't
bad.
even want to talk about it.
But yes,
But
and now you know
manifesting
Angel's record.
manifesting an Alexander Madison touchdown right here.
Madison.
Yeah,
Never know. He
manifest.
did get one in his first week. But continue to follow us at Full Steam Ahead on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call that app that Elon Musk created. Well, not really created, but bought. TikTok, Full Steam Ahead as well. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. We did get 3 new subscribers. So thank you for subscribing. And hopefully you like the content we're bringing you. FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram, as we're still trying to build that one up. It's not that big, but we are trying our best to build it. Threads, you already know. Of course, we're there, baby. We're still there. We're still going to be there for a while. On the podcast platforms, Google, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But Angel, anything else before we head out on this terrific Thursday, or people listen on this fantastic Friday?
No, just go Stros, and hopefully they can win the division.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Hopefully the Astros do take care of business against the Kansas City Royals and try to widen that gap from second place and first place. So we'll just have to see. We'll give you the recap of the Kansas City Royals series and give you the new preview when the Baltimore Orioles return to Houston. Until then, y'all have a safe and blessed weekend. And like Angel said, go Stros.